In this video, we're going to overview the process of creating a mold. As you can see on the Mold Tools command manager, we have several surfacing tools on the left-hand side. As we're looking at this command manager, all the features and tools that you need to use are going to be in order from left to right. The surfacing section here is going to be used to create geometry or modify geometry on your model. For instance, if you have an imported model that has some issues with surfaces, you're going to want to use these surfacing tools to create and replicate geometry that's either missing or improperly created when the part is converted. The next section is going to be your analysis tools. We have draft analysis, undercut analysis, and parting line analysis. All three of these tools are going to be necessary to use on our models to make sure that we meet all the criteria needed to create a valid mold. Draft analysis is going to let us look at our mold to make sure we have drafted faces in every section so we don't have any issues removing the part from the mold. Undercut analysis is going to look for any areas where we not only have a draft, but we have an occlusion in the mold, areas that are going to be prohibited from being removed from the mold. The parting line analysis is going to make sure that we have an accurate part that we can actually remove from a mold at a parting surface. The example we have on the screen is pretty straightforward, and the parting line is going to be on a single plane. But we have some other examples we're going to look at that'll be a little bit more complicated. The next section is a set of tools that we can use to modify the geometry after we've fixed it. For instance, the scale tool is used if you know you have a certain percentage of shrinkage in your plastic. You can scale up the model before you create your mold. Tools like draft and move face will allow you to add draft to certain areas of the part if it's inadequate, as found in the draft analysis. Splitline is a great tool if you need to project a sketch or modify any of the geometry that you're going to need to select to create your mold. The last section here is going to be all the specific mold tools. The first tool here, Insert Mold Folders, is going to add a section of 3 folders inside your surface body folders at the top of your feature tree. You don't necessarily need to use this, but I think it's important to help organize your feature tree, and we'll use that throughout our example. Parting lines is going to create an actual parting line on our part. We can use the parting line analysis to make sure that we have a valid parting line, but we need to use this parting line feature to create that parting line on our mold. Shut-off surfaces are going to allow us to create surfaces that will close open gaps in our mold, for instance, these vents. It's a very handy tool, especially when you have multiple vents such as this part. It's able to go through, find, and select all of those and allow you to close them all in one operation. These shut-off surfaces are going to be important to create a boundary between our core and cavity surfaces. These parting surfaces and the shut-off surfaces will be combined automatically inside SOLIDWORKS. Once we've created our parting line, our shut-off surfaces, and our parting surfaces, we can then make a tooling split. This tooling split will allow us to use the parting surfaces, our core and cavity, to create a subtraction from a solid model. That will ultimately create our mold. For features such as these pockets on the side, we're going to need to create a core. These are also called side poles. This is something that we're going to deal with farther down the process, but note that we will have to create a core for this model. That concludes the overview of the process.